Welcome to Straits Talk, a podcast by Straits Interactive, where we talk about the value, risks, and constraints of data protection, data governance, and generative AI. I'm 𝘕𝘂𝘓𝘗, co-founder of Straits Interactive. Last time we spoke to Terence Ng, a seasoned leader with 30 years of experience in technology, cybersecurity, and security printing in the region of APAC. Speaking from his experience as a former GM and data protection officer, he peeled back the curtain on the duality of holding senior position as well as operational responsibilities in a business and breach handling strategies. Picking up on where we left off, we are back again with Terence to share more. Yeah, so now I move on to the staff side, which what you touched on. How do you make it safe for staff to say, okay, this is not quite right, and then notify? Because years ago when the SingHealth case happened, this was one of the factors that was actually brought up, right? Where people didn't feel that they should report because, it would just cascade into something else, extra job or that. And that delayed the whole thing, right? In your case, how did you approach rolling out your data protection program and then also create this culture of accountability and being able to declare safely?
I think it starts from the top, right? Yeah. So one of the things we need to do is, we have to get the head of department or go through a learning process. Because, data protection 5 years ago was still very new. I think the introduction to data protection where we had the do not call, the DNC, right? So then we become more aware that you can be a target of a scammer if you're not careful with your personal data. We never know that there's a framework, the consent, the notification, the use, the storage, etc. So having that kind of training actually does help because at least the manager of the department, has the knowledge. Okay. Now, whether this knowledge go down to the next level and the next level, then there's something we also have to look into. So we devise various way of keeping people informed and trained. For example, we subscribe to a platform called 𝘕𝑗𝘍𝑒, which is actually a training tool where you roll out and everybody get in their mailbox. And it's a 5 minutes kind of modules. So you do it very often, maybe on a monthly basis. And if you don't take it, your manager will get to know about it, and then the manager can say, hey, when are you going to finish this module? It's only 10 minutes. Come on, So we use that tool to constantly refresh. And of course, there are a few so-called classroom kind of learning, which I think your company did for us. Yeah, and then when it comes to the production worker, right, these are the people that has no email account, so we also can't reach out to them. So we try to put it into a mobile platform as much as possible. But even that, it is not fair because they are mobile. We don't pay for the mobile subscription, so we can't expect them to use the mobile for their work. So we have to design courseware that are very simple to understand, multi-language, lots of illustration, and then we design posters that we stick on the shop floor to remind them. So these are the way. Then of course, we still need the inspection. We need, walk around and make sure they okay. So these are some of the measure we took.
So I'm hearing you actually have a challenge of two types or two levels of people. There's a white collar one, and you have shop floor, which is a blue collar one. And the training are quite different, right? And then you also do testing and mini courses online, is it? We also use the same platform. We actually do phishing
campaign
to test them, right? And see who actually fall correct, and then we educate them. Okay, interesting. Well, thanks for sharing all these things, because I think your experience coming from technology, cybersecurity, then into security, printing services, gives a very different and very unique perspective because you held two roles, both as operational management and then also now data protection. So in one sentence, what is good data governance to you?
I think good data governance, to me, it starts from the top. Okay, we have this phrase called the tone at the top, right? So at the top, if you set the right tone, then the people below will focus and pay attention to it, and that is necessary, right? If your mindset is that, oh, this is a necessary evil, we hate it, but we just have to do it, then you will cause a lot of problem when it comes to implementing it. So the other part of data governance, to me, is also about safeguarding your asset, because more and more data is actually a very key asset if it's not your main one. If it's your machine, you will buy insurance, you will train your worker to use it properly because you don't want to destroy it, or you don't want to reduce the value of the machine. So same thing for data, you have to recognize the value they bring to you and find ways to protect it. So I think once you have the mindset, then the governance, the compliance, the measure, the SOP all will flow nicely.
Okay, so that's a good perspective to the management. So if we're going to speak to the DPOs who are listening to this, how would they communicate this to the management effectively?
I know that there are always challenges, when it comes to this kind of topics, because the management don't necessarily understand. To them, it's, these are technical, these are IT, these are tech stuff. But I think if you can frame it from a risk angle, then it's different, because risk management is their job, right? I mean, the board of directors don't necessarily want to know how you make your product, how you service your customer, but they have to know what will cause the company to go down. What will cause the ship to sink overnight. So when you frame it as a risk topic, then it's totally different. So I would say to the DPO that you need to elevate your conversation. Yeah, it's not about, I have to notify, I have to make consent. All these are too tactical, right? You have to speak their language. If you don't do this, what are the costs to the company?
Well, thanks, Terence. So if I were to summarize the nuggets that you have shared, right? One, at the management level, you see that data protection up to the level of even TrustMark is a business enabler for you, right? And you've seen it manifested where if you're going after regulated customers, there's already appearing a tender. You need that checkbox to even play the game, right? And there are significant contracts. The next thing you mentioned also about breaches, you actually have the processes and also cyber insurance to be able to bring the right panel of people on board so they can respond in time, right? And being able to also notify your stakeholders quickly. And because many SMEs out here, you might be actually an intermediary. So your time to respond actually adds on to the time of the data controller, right? So something that you need to be aware of, because there's actually extra clock running on the data controller side, right? And they will actually have in their contract probably for you to notify even within a day, not even 3 days.
That's right.
Right? So that's something that you realize that you actually have to be quite disciplined and making sure that your controllers knew about it. And of course, your staff, you actually have a challenge of looking at both the management staff, the white-collar types, and then also the blue-collar ones where you have different kind of trainings. More operational, more obvious, and then even delivered on mobile because they don't log into emails, right? So very holistic, all-rounded approach and tailored for each kind of stakeholders. And last one, of course, the DPOs, right? Talk the risk language. What does it mean for business, right? To reach people like you, for you actually had the benefit of being both. So you could talk to yourself. But to carry to management, that is the language you have to present to the board.
Yeah, I mean, I have my bosses, right? So I also have to talk their language here.
Yeah. Well, that's been very helpful. And I think hopefully this inspires all of you DPOs out here that really TrustMark or high level of data protection is a business enabler, and you know the processes and the benefits, you can speak to the management at risk management level, and it really become a business enabler versus somebody who is just looking at compliance. Thank you, Terence, for sharing insights today.
My pleasure.
And this has been Straits Talk. Thank you guys for listening.